So I was listening to a talk on a CD in a car with some friends, and the speaker, he was a preacher, and he was talking about the disciples and how they allowed Jesus to wreck their life. And he said, if you want to be close to Christ, you have to let him wreck your life. He said that all of the disciples, they were just these men who were living their lives and kind of going about their business and plying their trade and doing all of the conventional things, and yet they met Jesus and they were compelled to follow him and to be completely wrapped up in his world. And then after the fact, they paid the highest price, which was that they devoted their entire lives and to the end, for the sake of Christ. So that was really compelling to me, and I was graduating college, and I said to God, I just wanted him to wreck my life. I wanted him to take it, and I wanted to be as close to Jesus as I possibly could be, and that for me meant that I wanted to do full-time missionary work. And I thought that meant something like being barefoot in a hospital in Africa. But it turns out that the opportunity that presented itself to me was to work with young adults in New Jersey. I had never been to New Jersey before, and I didn't really understand what this mission would look like. But it was right there. It was for the taking, and so I went, and I just said, yes, I'll do this. And what I learned was that mission fields are all around you, that there's a profound spiritual poverty right here among people my own age, and that if I could simply just be present to other young people, and in any way help them to be close to Christ, that in itself was missionary work. And that's how I got to the Fatherhood. I've moved around a lot with my family. I've moved 6 times in the past 6 years, to be exact.
Yeah.
And everywhere I go without fail, I seek out and I find other young adults, people my own age, who are starving for any kind of spiritual enlightenment. As I said, I would go and I would try to meet other moms, and I would have them over and have their children over to play, and they would notice the things in my home. They would notice the sacred scripture that would be out on my table, or they would notice the Advent candles or whatever it was, and it would spark conversation. And they were always really impressed with the ease by which I was able to talk about God in my life. That this wasn't something that was hard or foreign. This was very much part of who I was. And the fact that they were so surprised by that really made me aware of how much that wasn't part of their reality. So it was always just really easy to find adults who just needed this. And I think people gravitated to my home because they could experience that there. And I don't think it was anything specifically that I did on purpose, but it was just present. And people wanted to be in that presence. And what they didn't realize was that they just really wanted to be in the presence of Jesus. And they found that they could do that in our home. So I think, kind of checking it out, I think I basically brought the Father Judge Apostolic Center with me wherever I went, because I wanted my home to be that. I wanted it to be this open door.